My mother was raised in a Republican-style family in Seneca, Kansas, straight up north by the Nebraska border. She grew up on a beautiful Kansas farm. My dad came from a Democrat-style family in Akron, Ohio. He joined the Air Force and was stationed at Forbes Field. He was Jewish, and Mom was Catholic. My dad met my mom for their first date at Jenkins Music on Kansas Avenue in Topeka, near the spot where my building stands now. They followed up with a visit to the Dickinson Theater to catch a movie. It must have gone well because they ended up planting their roots and making a beautiful family together. My mom became a Democrat for my dad, and my dad converted to Catholicism for her, which is primarily how my siblings and I were raised. I had the best of both worlds. With those incredible parents and two very independent, hardworking older siblings, I had a very open, supportive, and loving life with a sense of responsibility. My parents were together for 41 years till death did Dad part. Even though it appeared that I grew up living a stereotypical, first-generation, lifelong Kansan lifestyle, I knew what it was like to be a minority. I was left-handed, red-headed, partially Jewish, and gay. Despite the stereotypes that many of us were forced to conform to from a life of hiding and shame, my traditional Kansas values only wanted me to be with one person for the rest of my life, just like the fairy tale that my parents lived. I just dreamed about Prince Charming instead of Snow White, and, well, I didn't know why. Living in Kansas, that dream wasn't attainable for me and many others who live among us, our Kansan brothers and sisters. Why should we have to leave our home? Why should it be allowed for us to be treated as second-class citizens in the United States of America? Most people never suspected me of being different, so they never shielded themselves from showing me how ugly many of them can be with their ignorance toward that kind of people. It scared me until I was 19 years old. It was October 12th, 1998, the day before my 20th birthday. But more importantly, it was the day that Matthew Shepard of Wyoming died of head injuries after he was lured to a country field, strapped to a fence, beaten, and left to die 6 days earlier. He was gay, just like me. It could have been me. As I watched it unfold on CNN, I was sickened when I observed how it was socially acceptable for a commentator on a national news broadcast to make excuses that Matthew could have deserved it because he might have hit on them. The two red-handed murderers who unmercifully tortured him for maximum pain. So I decided I needed to take a stand, grow a pair, and admit that I was gay to myself. Acceptance in the gay community meant that I was assimilated as part of another huge family that had to protect itself from the shame, hatred, and just plain ignorance of those who didn't understand us. To us, it was a full-on war. The prize of that war was the simple ability to live in peace and harmony, something our forefathers knew very well. I love all of my families very much, and that includes my extended family, who happen to sit equally on the left and the right side of the political aisles. Regardless of the letter they assign to their political affiliation, at the end of the day, we're all the same. I checked a box identifying as a Democrat on the registration form when I was 18, but I didn't really know what that meant at the time. When I was a kid, I remember my parents talking about politics. Because of their collective backgrounds, they never voted a straight ticket. They discussed, and they compromised. You'll be hard-pressed to find a better example of a true independent voter than me. I'm fiscally conservative and socially liberal. I believe in the Founding Fathers, and I share an agreement that they shared when they wrote the Constitution. We all agree that political parties are a bad idea, designed to do exactly what they've done to our society today. A system that spends nearly $4 billion on a midterm election while many of us are sick and so many of our children are still starving. A painfully divided nation. No matter who won, none of us should be proud of that. I pray that as our government proceeds from this election, for our leaders and their supporters to always remember that the margin of victory is usually very thin. If we're to fix the political gridlock in our country, the decisions made by our leaders should ultimately be made in the best interest of all our tax-paying residents and not just the slim majority. My prayer is transferable to every elected official all over the country and every single resident of this great nation on both sides of the aisle. I pray that they all attempt to approach every situation they encounter with the kind of compromise that someone like me was forced to grow up with by growing up here. If we want change, we must change. What do we have to do to fix this so that Kansas and every state in the Union is a warm and welcoming home to all of their residents? I'll say it again. Compromise. If that's the game, then count me in. I can only hope that there are many other frustrated individuals who will unite despite our differences and stand with us in the truly best interests of the real issues that face our nation. Decisions based on conscience rather than fear. A nation where our voices will always speak louder than special interest groups. It is our duty as American citizens to protect our country and our way of life. Wake up, folks! Unless we have money coming out of our ears, and even if you do, all of us are under attack. We must collectively demand better. We're not lab rats that are meant to be manipulated. We're United States citizens meant to live free. This is the land of opportunity, liberty, and justice for all. Period.